Hi guys, I hope that you're having a fabulous day. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with an in-depth comparison between the Louis Vuitton Slouchy MM and the Louis Vuitton Slouchy PM. So I hope that you enjoy it. If you do, make sure and give it a thumbs up. And without further ado, let's get started, shall we? As you guys can tell, the background is a little bit different. Normally, I do like to have a little bit of eye candy for you. However, I noticed that whenever I do talk about the MM Slouchy on my channel, you guys see like half of the bag or 3/4 of the bag with my normal setup. So I figured if I'm going to be doing an in-depth look at these bags, I want to make sure that you guys fully see the bag, you know? Not only that, I also want to show you guys how the bags look on me like in real time. Well, not in real time, but on video instead of inserting mod shots. So I figured that this setup would work out a lot better for this specific video. So let me know if you guys like this type of angle for comparison videos in the future. Okay, so we have a lot to discuss. I have a feeling that this video is going to get very, very chatty. I do have all of my notes in front of me, and I just didn't want to leave anything out. I want to give you guys as much information as possible. So before we get into the bones of this video, I figured that we would start off with the measurements on both of these bags, and I will also do quick handbag tours on each of them, and then we will go from there. Okay, so let's begin with the Slouchy PM, shall we? So this bag is approximately 13 inches in length, 8.7 inches in height, and approximately 3.5 inches in depth. And I am not including these wings here. I am just talking about this part right here. So 3.5 inches in depth. It does feature a 10-inch strap drop, and this bag, completely empty with the luggage tag and the lock, comes in at 1 pound, 2.4 ounces. Now, as far as this strap, as you guys can see, you do have one leather strap. On the smallest part of the strap, it measures a little under 3/4 of an inch, and then on the thickest part of the strap, it measures a little under 1.5 inches. So I thought I would mention that just in case. And this bag comes in at $25.90 here in the States. Now, as far as a little quick handbag tour, here is the front side. It's a very simple bag. There is a side view, back view. It does not have any exterior pockets, any exterior zippers, or anything like that. There is another side view. Now on this side view, you do have a D-ring, and you also have a removable luggage tag, and it also comes with a removable keyless lock. So if you wanted to use the lock by itself on the D-ring, or if you wanted to just use a luggage tag, you have that option. Or if you wanted to take them off completely, you can do that as well. And as you guys can see, you do have the LV logo on there. Now, I actually tried to get the luggage tag hot stamped, and they said that it was a little too thick. So I thought I would throw that out there just in case. And then on the back of the luggage tag, it says Louis Vuitton Paris. And on the bottom, it does not have any feet. As far as getting into the bag, you do have the dual zippers, which I absolutely love. And as you guys can see, the zippers do have Louis Vuitton Paris engraved on there. And on the top of this leather strap, it says Louis Vuitton Paris as well. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it or not. I know that my camera is showing up a little bit brighter. So there is the exterior of it. All right, let's open this bad boy up. Very, very smooth zippers. And I also wanted to mention, before I forget, you also have these little rings on the zipper, so if you wanted to add a lock on there, you can do that as well. Seeing as how I do have the demi-azur features the rose ballerine interior, and that is microfiber, and you also have one zippered pocket on one side and nothing on the other side, and just an open compartment right there. And this one says Louis Vuitton Paris, made in France. All right. So I just wanted to throw that out there just in case. So once again, there is a look at the PM in demi-azur. You can also go for it, of course, in the monogram. And the monogram has that beautiful red interior that you guys will see in just a second. Okay, so moving on to the MM size, I'm kneeling on a stool. I have to scoot back a little bit just to make sure that I get this whole bag, you know, on screen. Okay, so as far as the measurements, it is 15.7 inches in length. It is 11.4 inches in height and approximately 4.3 inches in depth. Remember, I am not including these little wings here. It does feature a 13.5 strap drop, and this bag, completely empty, with the luggage tag and the lock, weighs in at 1 pound, 13.6 ounces. And as far as the strap goes, on the smallest part, it actually measures 1 inch. And then on the thickest part of the strap, it measures a little over 1 3/4 of an inch. So again, I wanted to throw that out there. Okay, now let's do a little handbag tour. Oh, and this bag comes in at $26.90 here in the States. So there is a $100 difference between the two sizes. Okay, so again, you have a very simple silhouette. There is a side view, back view. Again, no exterior pockets, no exterior zippers. The other side view, once again, you have the D-ring with the removable luggage tag and the keyless lock. And you have the exact same features. On the bottom, it does not have any feet. And then again, you have the Louis Vuitton Paris on the top of the strap. And once more, you have the dual zippers. And on this one, remember, the monogram does have the beautiful red microfiber interior. I know this one might be a little bit harder to see, but on one side, you don't have any zippers or slip pockets. And then on the other side, you have one zipper compartment and two slip pockets. Let's see if I can move things around so you guys can see it a little bit better. Maybe not. I think it's because of the strap. Okay, so there you have the zippered pocket, and then right below that right here is where you have the dual zipper, or the dual slip pockets. And then on this one, it says Louis Vuitton Paris, made in France. So again, the monogram does have the beautiful red microfiber lining, and the demi-azur comes with the beautiful rose ballerine microfiber lining. Okay, so let me do another little twirl on it. I have some fuzzies, but a little twirl on the bag. At the moment, the silhouette is only available in demi-azur and in monogram canvas. However, it will be coming out in demi-ebene. How exciting is that? I've actually talked to a couple different sales associates, and they said that it will be releasing when, we have no idea. If I had to guess, I'd probably say either at the end of July or like mid-August. I think that they're gonna release this like to get a jump start on the fall season. I could be wrong. These are just my 2 cents. These are just my thoughts. I'm not trying to spread any rumors or anything like that, because as of right now, like I mentioned, the sales associates have no idea when it's coming out, but they just said soon. So how exciting is that? I know that a lot of you guys love the slouchy silhouette, but you're not a fan of either the demi-azur or the monogram canvas. And the fact that it's going to be releasing in demi-ebene, I think is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so it's safe to say that I adore this silhouette. I think it is absolutely fabulous. The reason why I'm such a fan of it is because it reminds me of old school Louis Vuitton, and it's a very simple design. Even though it has the right type of details, it's a very simple design. Therefore, it makes it that much more user-friendly, in my opinion. It's super, super comfortable, and I seriously cannot get enough of it. Obviously, I love it so much that when I got the MM size, I fell in love with it like right away. And then I loved it so much, I was like, okay, I have to get it in the PM size. And when I heard that they were going to be releasing it in demi-azur, I was like, dude, game over. I have to have that bag, right? Now, I love these bags for two totally different reasons. Okay, so when it comes to the MM size, like I said earlier, this is a big old bag. I love big old bags. You're able to carry everything with you, which I think is fantastic. But for me, this is solely a shoulder bag because, let me get up. So whenever I have it on my shoulder, I feel like it just molds to my shoulder. And over time, this strap has definitely relaxed a little bit more. So remember how I mentioned that this has a 13.5 strap drop. Completely empty, it's 13.5. And because I've used it so much, it's really relaxed. So when you have this bag fully loaded, or if you have a lot of items in here, you can expect to gain at least maybe about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch more of a strap drop. So I wanted to mention that as well. So let me just scoot back a little bit. There we go. So if you want to carry this bag and you're wearing a thick jacket or you have a thick sweater, you do not have to worry that it's going to be right underneath your armpit or anything like that. You have quite a bit of clearance, which I think is absolutely wonderful. But this is what it looks like on me. I am 5'5" and I'm in between a size 4 and 6 in the US, but I love it. I absolutely love it. The more and more that I use this, as I mentioned, this strap just kind of molds to my shoulder. And I can easily wear this bag for like 10-15 hours, no problem. Fully loaded, fully loaded. I'm talking like if I am pushing the envelope with what I'm carrying in here, I can literally, it doesn't even feel like it's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel like it's weighing down my shoulder. I feel like the weight is so evenly distributed with this silhouette that it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Another thing that I really like about using this as a shoulder bag is that I feel like I can rest my arm on here, which I think is wonderful because I feel like it gives me a little bit of, I don't know, like it feels that much more comfortable when I can just rest my arm on here. Do you guys find the same thing with your shoulder bags? Let me know in the comment section down below. But I like that. I can just, you know, pop it on like this. Sometimes I'll dip it this way. Other times I'll have it this way. Either way, I think it is absolutely amazing. Look at how pliable it is. I have zero, I don't think that this bag is gonna have any type of creasing or that you're gonna get, that the canvas is gonna crack by any means whatsoever because of how malleable it is. Look at that. You can really, it just really transforms to whatever it is that you're carrying in here. So the fact that it's not so stiff really will add to the durability of this canvas. I don't find that it's too bulbous whenever I do have it on my shoulder because as you guys can see, and I'll put some stuff in here a little bit later on so you guys can really take a look at the difference. This strap, it does not roll off of my shoulder and I don't have the widest shoulders either. So I totally understand and I get very frustrated when I do have a shoulder bag and it's constantly slipping off. I can't stand that. So I'm happy to say that I personally haven't experienced any type of slipping with this shoulder strap by any means whatsoever, regardless of the type of clothing that I'm wearing. If I'm using it sleeveless or if I have a sweater or what have you, either way, it doesn't slip off of my shoulder. So I had to mention that as well. But I don't find it to be too bulbous. I find that it kind of just, it goes up against my body very, very nicely. You know, and again, you're going to have a little bit of a slouch going on, given how much you have going on in this bag. And I like that. I like that. I don't find that it's like this enormous bag. I don't feel that it overwhelms me. On the contrary, I feel a little bit more comfortable when I use this bag just because of how large it is. But again, not large in a like ridiculous way either. Now, one thing that I have to mention is that I actually don't like to use this bag, and I never thought I'd say this. I don't really like to use this as a crook of the arm bag or as a hand carry bag because whenever I do use it on the crook of my arm, and seeing as how I'm not the tallest person on the planet, sometimes I feel like it is a little bit bulbous this way on my body frame. I feel like sometimes I'll end up just bumping into things. It just feels like it protrudes off a little more than I would like compared to whenever I have it on my shoulder, because sometimes I feel like I'm able to smash it down a little bit with my arm, so therefore it doesn't feel like it's, again, this overwhelming bag. So I really don't like to use it on the crook of my arm. Not only that, the strap drop that it has, even though it is insanely generous, I find it's a little too long for me to carry as a bag on the crook of my arm. Now, another thing, I discovered this a little bit shorter after I noticed that I'm not really a fan of using it on the crook of my arm. When I go to use this bag as a hand carry bag, and if I have it like so, I know you guys can't tell, but I have about 4 to 5 inches of clearance from the floor. And remember, this is completely empty. That makes me very, very nervous because, again, I'm not the tallest person on the planet, and because of the strap drop, it's a little too close to the floor than I would like, to the point where sometimes I feel like I'm gonna be dragging this bag, you know? So again, it's completely empty and I have that. So if I have it fully loaded, I'm easily gonna have at least 4.5 to 3.5 inches, you know, like this far from the ground. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. Like I said, it makes me super nervous. And sometimes when I'm out and about, I feel like my head is in the clouds, or if I'm looking at something, I'm kind of like, I'm not really paying attention to how I'm carrying the bag. So because of that, this for me has solely become a shoulder bag for my body frame and how comfortable I feel using this bag. Because any other way, it makes me way too nervous, and yeah, I don't really like that. Another thing that I really like is if I am fishing for something in my bag, and normally I do like to have it completely open. I'm not the type of person that likes to have my bags closed with a zipper. Unless I'm somewhere where I want a little bit added security, for the most part, like 99% of the time, my bags, my totes, everything's always open. But what I really like about the MM, because of the strap drop, I like that I can fish into my bag, get out my phone, get out my wallet, whatever it is that I need to, without this strap coming off of my shoulder. I love that. So I'm like, boom, I got to get my phone, I got to get this, and I can still semi-see everything at a glance. When I have it on my shoulder, I don't find that the opening is too closed for me to fish out whatever it is that I need to fish out. Maybe it's because of the bright red interior. I know that a lot of you guys aren't a fan of the red interior, but I find that it's a lot easier to locate my items because I have that colored interior versus if it was black or if it was the dark microfiber. I think that because red is such a it's not a go-to color for a lot of people when it comes to the interior of a bag. I think if they would have done this in the beige microfiber, that would have been an absolute game changer for a lot of people. So I can definitely see that. But for me personally, selfishly, I love that it is the beautiful red microfiber. I love how you have a little bit of the peekaboo red, you know, kind of poking through whenever you're carrying it. If you have it completely opened up, you know, if you wanted to just use one zipper, you can do that. Or if you wanted to have them both meet in the middle, either way, this is such a good silhouette. I really cannot sing its praises enough. It is fantastic. And so far, this strap, it did come with a little, what's it called? The little, I don't even know if it's cork or cardboard or whatever, the little thing that goes underneath the strap to help it keep its shape. It's been, the way that I store it, it's been amazing.
The PM didn't come with one, and so far, no wonkiness.
I haven't had any issues with this getting wonky or anything like that, and I have really used this bag quite a bit over the last, how long have I had it? Like, I don't know, 7 months or something like that. I don't know. There was 1 month when I used it nonstop for an entire month. And you guys know, I don't really do that. Okay, so now I have the bag fully loaded and you guys can see you get a little bit of a sag, but even then it's not like this crazy sag, kind of like the Speedy sag, because you do have a tiny bit of reinforcement with this part of canvas here. So it doesn't sag too much, but you can see that I have gained at least an inch more on the strap drop. So let me just put this bad boy on. See what I mean? It just cascades off of my body very, very nicely. And you have that slouch going on. I mean, I love that. And again, if I wanted to get into my bag and retrieve something very quickly at the checkout, I can do that. So I can either go for my key pouch in the small size. I can either go for my phone, you know, and it's very easy to just throw them back in there. No problem. So I love that. I absolutely love that. I know you guys can't tell, but that's what I have in the bag. So now let's move on to the PM size before I do a side-by-side comparison. So the PM size, I love this bag to use for everything else and as a shoulder bag. So I love using it as a shoulder bag. I love using it as a crook of the arm, hand carry type of bag. So whenever I do have it on my shoulder, you know, again, I feel like I'm able to kind of smash this down. I love how it feels on my shoulder as well. I feel like with this one, you can semi kind of rest your arm. Definitely not as much as the MM, but still very comfortable. With this one, you don't have as much clearance. So if you are using a heavy coat or a heavy sweater, I feel like you will end up getting a little bit more of the bag or the zipper rubbing on underneath your armpit. Now there is one important factor to take into consideration. I've had the MM for, like I said, the 7 months or what have you, and I haven't had this one for as long, and I haven't used it as much as I have the MM. So the MM has definitely relaxed, and this one, I feel like the more and more that I use it, the more and more that this leather will start to kind of relax a little bit more. And I feel like it might be a little bit more generous when it comes to the strap drop. Remember, right now it sits at a 10-inch strap drop. So if I do have it fully loaded, I'm going to gain that 1/2 inch to an inch, but still the more and more that I use it, the more that it relaxes. I feel like it's going to be a little bit more comfortable. Again, not as comfortable if you were to use a full coat or a full sweater, because I feel like you will get that the top of the zipper kind of, you know, rubbing underneath your armpit. So I just had to throw that out there just in case. But with this one, I love using it on the crook of my arm, like so. I know it's a little bit hard to tell, but I like using it on the crook of my arm because this does not feel bulbous whatsoever. When I go to use it as a hand carry bag, same thing. I don't have to worry that this is going to be, you know, rubbing on the floor or too close to the floor because, you know, because of my height. I feel like this checks off all the marks for me in terms of a perfect all-around bag, whereas the MM to me is a perfect shoulder bag. This one, I'm able to easily fit all of my daily essentials. I mean, I can get away with carrying some full-size SLGs. For the most part, I do like to go a little bit smaller or even the mid-size SLGs to be able to maximize my space in here. Whereas with the MM size, I'm able to fit all full-size SLGs. We're talking full-size zip wallet. I'm talking the large sunglass case and all that other good stuff. So with this one, you definitely, or I should say, I definitely like to go down a little bit more just to be able to carry more in this bag. But still, I think that it's great. You're still able to see everything at a glance. I don't find that this strap gets in the way. I don't find that it's fussy by any means whatsoever. I know that it might seem like that on camera because I'm trying to give you guys a really good angle to see it. So when you see it like this, you're like, dude, how can you tell what's in your bag? But if you just kind of move it off to the side, you're able to see everything at a glance. I haven't had any issues with any type of color transfer on either of them, but I do like to go for darker SLGs with the monogram one. And with this one, I haven't had any issues with the rose ballerine interior, getting any type of color transfer whatsoever on any of my Demi Azur pieces. So I think that's been great. I think that the red interior, you know, even though I haven't had any issues with it, and remember, I have only used darker SLGs, I'm very mindful with it because, you know, if it's anything like the Demi Ben lining, it's that beautiful rich red. This one's not as rich, but still it's red. And I don't want any of my Demi Azur pieces or my lighter pieces to get any type of color transfer whatsoever. So, but let me show you guys one other thing. So whenever I do have it on my shoulder, with this one, I feel like I do have to take it off of my shoulder to get to whatever it is that I need to get to. So with this, again, boom, very comfortable. But I can't open it up as easily. I mean, yeah, you can. You can open it up, but I don't feel like I'm able to fish the items out of here as easily as I can with the MM. And let me show you guys how this bag has a little bit of that sagging, or that, I shouldn't say sagging because it doesn't sag. Let me just transfer some stuff over so you guys can see it a little bit better. All right, this bag keeps wanting to fall off of this stool and it's driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts. Okay, so you still have a little bit of that peekaboo action with the pink if you like to leave it open the way that I do. And see what I mean? I'm still able to kind of smash it down this way. This way, when it's fully loaded, I feel like you're able to rest your arm a little bit more. And you guys can see that I have gained a little bit of that strap drop. But again, not enough to feel comfortable using a thick jacket or a thick sweater. So there we go. And I like that you have that little reinforcement on the bottom so it doesn't have that really gnarly sagging. Although I absolutely love like the speedy sag. Another thing that I wanted to mention, these luggage tags and these locks, they are the exact same size. I thought for a second that the luggage tag on the PM was going to be a little bit smaller, but nope. I measured them out, I weighed them out. They weigh exactly the same, and hang on. They weigh exactly the same and everything. So I also wanted to mention that. Now for the time of putting these two together, side by side. Here we go. Here they are, side by side. Okay. Let me put them back to back. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Let's try it this way. Okay. You can see that size difference right there. And let me put this one on this shoulder and I'll put this one on this shoulder. You guys can see, look at that. You can definitely see that difference. But I'm able to put both of these on and comfortably rest my arm. This one's way more comfortable than this one, but still, look at that. Again, these don't roll off of my shoulders, and so insanely comfortable. I think it is amazing. I'm able to put it on my shoulder as well. Boom, I'm out the door. You know, that's another thing. I like to test out the straps to see how easy it is to put it on and take it off, because I don't want that type of fussy strap either. I don't want it to pull on my hair. I don't want it to do anything like that. And once again, there you go. This one's a lot harder, I think, not harder, but it's a little bit more, I don't know, it doesn't seem as easy to take it off. I think it's really because of the strap drop, the difference between them. And this strap, even though it is a little bit wider here, and it does taper to the 1 inch that I was talking about, it's still insanely comfortable. It's not too skinny, it's not too thick either. I think that by them going for a flat shoulder strap was the best way to go, because it really adds to the comfort of how, you know, especially how long you can use this bag. So whether you go for it in the MM size or whether you go for it in the PM size, the more you use it, the more the leather will start to relax, the more the leather will start to kind of form to your shoulder, to where it'll just be like, it'll be like butter. It'll be like butter using it on your shoulder. I also want to show you guys some quick size comparisons just in case you have these bags and you want a better idea. So here we have the Slouchy PM next to the Louis Vuitton Speedy 25. There they are side by side. There is the depth of them. And if I was to put them like so, you can see that the Slouchy PM is just a tiny bit longer than the Speedy 25. All right, so there's the Speedy. I also wanted to compare it to the Galliera PM. So Slouchy PM, Galliera PM, huge difference. There we go. All right, and I also have the Neverfull MM. I thought about bringing out the BB, but nah. There we go. So there's the Neverfull MM compared to it. They have almost this, no, the Neverfull still has a little bit more depth to it. There we go. Okay, so now let me compare the Slouchy MM with the Neverfull MM. These are a little bit more comparable in terms of depth. There we go. All right. Let me compare it to the Galliera PM. I feel like the Galliera PM is still a little bit longer than the Slouchy PM. That's crazy, right? Oh, maybe not. But you guys know how I feel about the strap on this bag, and I feel like this is going to be the same thing. There's that, and here is the Speedy 25. I just did the 25 because I feel like it's more of a popular size, again, just in case you have this bag in your collection. So like I said, I love these bags for two totally different reasons. I think that they're wonderful. I don't think that if you have the MM, it would be redundant for you to get the PM. Again, because I feel like both of them can serve totally different purposes. If you want a smaller, easy to use, no fuss type of bag, I think that the PM is great. If you want something very comfortable, something that's going to fit your laptop, your Kindles, your iPads, plus all your other goodies, I think that the MM size would be a wonderful way to go. But either way, I don't think that you can go wrong with either of these bags, because I feel like they're simple, but they offer so incredibly much. All right, you guys, so that does it for this in-depth comparison video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope I was able to give you information on these bags, especially if you're looking to add them to your collection. And again, let me know if you guys like this setup, if you like this angle whenever I do these comparison videos, because I want you guys to be able to see the bag fully, you know, instead of having to just move it around on the screen. Oh, can you see this angle? Can you see this angle? I feel like this was a lot better for me to really be able to showcase these sizes and really show you guys how it looks, you know, on me. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you'd like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not, the choice is yours. Have a great day.